Well, we're off and running in the evening session here at the Belgian Darts Open, and while the Belgian fans might not have got the result they wanted in the opener with their own man Mike de Decker going down to European champion Rob Cross, they have got plenty to look forward to. Not only the Belgian top two, Dimitri van den Berg and Kim Huybrechts, taken to the stage later, but they get to see the reigning Grand Prix champion and the man top of the PDC Order of Ferret, Jonny Clayton, up against dynamite Keane Barry, one of the most exciting young talents in the sport. Now, a bit like de Decker and Rob Cross, they've played 4 times before, and is the senior man, the seeded player, who's won every single encounter. But Keane Barry might be wondering how that has come to pass, because he's played some excellent stuff at times against Jonny Clayton, but he's still searching for that first win. He has been hammering the practice board this weekend, Keane Barry, often on his own, away from the main group of practice boards, just piling the darts into the treble 20, and he was feeling pretty good when I spoke to him earlier.
First leg is Keane to throw first. Game on.
He's also won the bullseye, so he has the advantage. Chris Murphy has jumped in the comms box for this one.
Yeah, feeling pretty good and played pretty well in his opening win against Danny Baggish yesterday. A 6-2 success, a couple of 3-figure finishes. In fact, that one of the matches that the pair had was at the World Championship. There were 10 ton-plus checkouts shared between the pair in that brilliant match in which Clayton averaged almost 104, trailed Keane Barry 2-1 in that game, and then won 6 of the last 7 legs to blitz Barry and progress.
Yeah, and that was, of course, in a campaign where a lot of people were kind of expecting Clayton to go and become world champion, and were it not for a heroic performance from Michael Smith, that might have come to pass.
Interesting year for Jonny Clayton. Felt that maybe he turned a corner when he picked up his solitary TV title so far this year, when he won the New South Wales Darts Masters down under. On the Euro Tour, he started pretty well. Semi-finals in the very first event, quarter-finals in the following 2. But since then, hasn't reached the final session in any of his last 7.
Yeah, there was potential. There's Keane Barry, eyes up double top.
70.
Skids over the top of it. Jonny Clayton, a much tougher assignment with a 140. Too tough in the end. Yeah, but there was a potential at one point. Jonny Clayton, he wasn't guaranteed for the Euros. Now that's all sorted. Now it's fine. But he's not fine in this one, because Keane Barry has taken the opening leg. Keane Barry, by contrast, has still got work to do to get to the European Championship, and it's quite a bit of work. Not insurmountable, because he's qualified for Gibraltar, the final event of the year. But he's going to have to pick it. He's only got 10k at the minute.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know how much he's going to be right. We reckon something like 14 or 15k is going to make you safe.
57.
But it is a bit of a guess.
Yeah, he's made it through to 5 events this year, including Gibraltar for the 13. Has appeared in the final day once this year, but hasn't won on a Saturday yet, because that appearance was by virtue of a walkover. Also, of course, made the last 16 on his Euro Tour debut in Hungary last year.
Yeah, so if you qualify for 5 of these, which is he's not quite half, with 13 of these events, just winning 1 game and losing on the Saturday, it's not going to get you to the European Championship. You're going to have a big chunk of money somewhere. And for Keane Barry, the time is either now or Gibraltar. There are no other options.
He's up against a player. We know how good Jonny Clayton is, how good he's been for the last couple of years, but he hasn't repeated last year, this year. And mentioned the little dry spell on the Euro Tour. He's actually lost at this stage in his first match in 3 of his last 5 outings.
How about this? How about this?
120.
Well, he'll come back to tidy up. I do take your point that it hasn't been as successful and title-laden as last year. But let's not forget, man finished top of the Premier League. Over 4 months in one of the toughest competitions, and was winning on a regular basis. He didn't go on and win the title itself, of course, again, because Joe Cullen went berserk against him in the semi-finals. But that alone is an enormous achievement.
It is a good point, and actually, when you look at his stats away from over the course of the year, take out the Premier League, it was actually while he was in the Premier League that he wasn't getting the results that he would have merited, and maybe that started to turn since the Premier League finished.
Almost as if being in the Premier League is quite a draining experience.
And there are a couple of players who've come out and said they're probably not going to play in other events while the Premier League's on next year.
Well, Peter Wright said the Euro Tour is off limits while the Premier League is on for next year. If he's in the Premier League, you would think the world #2 and reigning world champion's got a solid chance.
Price saying something similar as well, although we don't often see much of him these days, Premier League or not.
Aaron Price having the weekend off again.
405.
And let's be fair, Gerwin does have something of a track record of saying one thing and then maybe having a little rethink.
Unlike the previous winner, Rob Cross, who still claims that he won't playing anything unranked.
That's a very interesting one. Lovely stuff from Keane Barry. Oh, yeah, really nice.
We'll take his Jonny to throw first. Keane.
20 years of age now. We've been aware of him for a good half a decade, Keane Barry. Bit of a prodigy. Now this year he's won 3 development tour titles. Still not developed, but has threatened to do stuff on the senior tour, including a run to a semi-final of one of the Players' Championship events.
Well, and of course the UK Open.
Yeah.
Which was an astonishing run. But despite that, despite all of these achievements, it feels certainly to me like the hype around Keane Barry has just died down a little bit, partially because, you know, the thrill of the new, the novel, it's worn off a little bit, but also there are other players, you know, the likes of Josh Rock that we can all get excited about, and rightly so, of course. But I think what Keane Barry has achieved certainly indicates that there are a lot more things to come from the young man.
All about concentration, this sport. Well, this is a chance here for Barry. On the ball.
What a guide that was. What a guide. Just a tungsten tray to lay it on and get the break and take a 3-1 lead. And he is living up to the billing, Keane Barry. It's only a 92 average, but 60% on the doubles. Jonny Clayton's got a game on here.
He looks concerned, doesn't he? And we go back to that World Championship match. Now, this is a much shorter format than that. If Barry can have a run like he did at the start of that match, he'll win this one.
Yeah.
In fact, the next time they met, which was earlier this year, Clayton also threw 103 average at him in a floor event. He now has 11 PDC titles, Jonny Clayton. Unable to defend his World Series of Darts Finals title, but he gave it a good go last weekend. I'd be interested to see the likes of Michael van Gerwen in action later tonight. He faces Kim Huybrechts, because we are starting, it starts to happen this time of year, doesn't it? You get a few players. Van Gerwen hasn't been one of the quieter ones this year. He's been the most prolific winner. But you get a few players that start to peak around now. Clayton needs to peak now in this match, and that is a good way to go about it. But he could be one of them. Peter Wright, who won the last Euro Tour event, could be another. Gerwin Price seems to be playing some of the best stuff he's played all year as well.
Yep. Ooh, 2 misses from Jonny Clayton and Keane Barry. 101, 1 treble required. Not that treble, but 2 tops would do it. Doesn't give it enough.
He knows he's in a game here, but there's a huge, huge difference between 3-2 and 4-1, and it is 3-2, and Clayton will throw to level the match, so he will need to break again to win the match.
The
winner of this taking on another explosive talent in Dirk van Dijvenbode. who came through a real thriller with Mervyn King this afternoon.
85.
Yeah, it was an absolute cracker. Had to survive a match dart as Merv chucked 5 maximums at him. Not the numbers you might have expected from Jonny Clayton in this one. Not yet, anyway.
140.
It's always joyous and frustrating in equal measure to watch someone throw as effortlessly, seemingly as Keane Barry, because they make it look so easy. You go pick up your darts and try and emulate it, and you can't.
No.
96.
No, you really can't. He races through his visits. Needs to find a treble to leave a finish. Does so, but Keane Barry, a ton 40 here, would be perfect. Oh, wild one. But that's not a bad effort to tidy it up.
156.
Gets a chance then to
95.
restore that little buffer
158.
and keep a tight grip on this game. A couple of times he's done that. A dart above top's right in the middle is a bit of a problem for him, but when it's over to the side, he can kind of use it a little bit.
Yeah, he's laying it on top. He's fine. Ooh, there's one of those
not
wild
ones like that.
Yeah. He's quite good at sliding in alongside them as well. The problem comes when he's trying to force it in underneath a previous dart. That's not really an option he has. That's why he switched there.
96.
Jonny Clayton, I think it's fair to say, hasn't really clicked into gear in this game, and he's in danger of running out of time in his bid to do so.
57.
But it seems like they all love the darts here, Dan.
Fair few Dimitri Vandenberg shirts in the crowd. The old ones as well, the Belgian colours. They haven't updated yet to the new ones. Either by choice or just haven't got round to it. It's very new. Here comes the Ferrets. With his second maximum, and it gets him down to a Shanghai finish.
81. 120.
Big moment. Either side of it.
It was a finish that Barry hit himself in his opening match. Also 1-3-4. He's added a ton in this one.
Like that. Bullseye to lead double 12. Don't mind it at all. But Jonny Clayton will mind that. The dart at tops was not even close. And he's not that close to Keane Barry if this goes.
Open bed, double 6. Whistle past the wire. And Jonny Clayton just clinging on in this game. But he is still in this game.
Well, when you've lost 4 out of 4 to a particular player, and some of those games you've been leading, some of those games you've had a higher average than him, many of those games you feel you've played well and you still haven't got the win, and you're missing chances like that, do you start getting worried?
Yeah, and when in some of those games, that opponent has just from nowhere flicked the switch and started going ballistic. And he might be getting the sense that that's happening now, based on the last couple of visits from Jonny Clayton. Well,
we mentioned Jonny Clayton's superb Premier League campaign. How many times did we see him come from behind when it looked like he was fading, and then he did click? A barrage of legs, 11 and 12 darters. Too hot for Van Gerwen, too hot for Anderson, too hot for anybody when he was getting going. And might he be too hot for Keane Barry? He levels the game up at 4 apiece. The young Irishman has the darts, but Jonny Clayton has the bit between his teeth. That's how you respond.
Yeah, and it is the first time the game has been level since 1 apiece. Well, the heat is on Keane Barry, but he's dealing with it well. Surely 100.
It's Keane's partner, Barbara Hospodowska. Decent darts player herself, although recent exploits have been hampered because she fell off a scooter. And there's Belgian darts superfan Jackie.
60. And you're 121.
Well, this will please both.
89.
Didn't need to go the 11 ball route with Clayton barely halfway through the leg after 9 darts.
60. Well,
he's thrown up a roadblock in this Jonny Clayton charge. That's a 13 darter on throw. Excellent stuff from Keane Barry. 1 up, 1 away from reaching the final day of the Belgian Darts Open. And taking not a decisive step, but a significant step towards qualification for the European Championship.
83.
Only seen 1 seeded player beaten so far today. That was Damon Heta in the very first game of the day.
Heta, one of the players to have knocked Clayton out on a Saturday. The recent ones have been Dave Chisnell, Scott Williams and Jose Justicia. Is Keane Barry about to add his name to that list?
81.
As Clayton's indifferent Euro Tour campaign in 2022 seems to be continuing.
60.
But he is likely to force a last leg shootout here, and as Dan was just talking about, Keane Barry does have scars against this man.
Yeah, he does. Does that play a part? Does a player's psychology or mentality or history have any effect on what they do on a dartboard?
He's not taking this out, but he will be leaving it handy, or he should be.
106.
Calculations were almost visible.
Yes, but he got them right. Good work, Jonny the Ferret.
95.
95 just gives him a little tap on the shoulder.
So that last leg shootout beckons. 88. Awkward.
16.
Wow.
And the shoulder tapping might become a huge shove.
Treble 18 would have given him a match dart at the bullseye. Jonny Clayton breathes a sigh of relief and takes it to a last leg decider.
Well, here we are. It's been a great game, very entertaining. The averages may not be enormous, but it doesn't take away from the drama. And we now have that battle on the hockey and in the minds as well. Barry has the throw now, but Clayton has the know-how.
59.
The Ferret has trailed all the way through this match. At best, he's been level.
85.
The only time that can change is with the very last dart of the game.
100. 81.
Needs to hit big.
Big enough for you. 180 number 4 leaves him a bogey number. Keane Barry will be first to a finish. And that is a vital last start that leaves him a 101 checkout. 400 points scored in 4 visits to the board by Keane Barry. If he can take out 101 here, he wins the match. He'll get a match dart. The target is double 16. And he cannot hit it. And is he going to fall to the ferret once more?
Treble 19. Double 11. And Clayton does it again. He beats Barry for the 5th time. And Dynamite just cannot seem to defeat this man, no matter where, how they play, when they play. Jonny Clayton just seems to get the better of Barry, and he's done it again, surviving a scare, surviving a match start, but moving through to the last 16 to take on Dirk van Dijvenbode. That could be a great game. That was a great game in its own right, and coming next, it's another one to please the Belgian crowd, as Dimitri van den Berg, their shining star in this tournament, takes to the stage. Andrew Gilding in the role of Bond villain in that one. But we'll get a word from Jonny Clayton, who once again, that little ferret has escaped.
Ferret, Jonny Clayton through to the last 16 of the 2022 Belgian Darts Open